race of the for the Shellsport, second race of the day. The way they finished the first one was Warren Steele, Mark Rutherford, Warren Burt, Malcolm Webb. The way they lined up on the front of the grid there now, Mark Rutherford on the far side. That's Mark Rutherford's 1600 pushrod, highly modified 1600 Mark II Escort. Very, very fast indeed, and Reg competed very well with Warren Steele
in the first race. Warren Steele, number 3, the blue Nissan Bluebird, sponsored by Sanyo, sitting there on the right-hand side of your screen, and Warren Bird in car number 15, the Toyota Starlet, in the middle of your screen as you see it now. The car about to start now.
44 at the back is Malcolm Webb. Look for the sprint off the line. Good close race in the first race. Mark Rutherford perhaps would have won it if he hadn't spun. Again, a good start from Warren Steele. He got a very good start in the first race as well.
And he just chopped out Mark Rutherford there, and Warren Burt right on the tail of Warren Steele. Very close. Warren Steele won't make any mistakes in this race. He didn't enjoy the first race being so close it was, and he intends to get out, clear away if he can. But Warren Burt, in a brilliant passing manoeuvre around by the hangers, has taken the lead. Warren Steele right beside him again. These two, well, Warren Steele won't be happy with that. He wanted to get out in the first lead and get away from Warren Burt if he could, and he isn't at the moment.
I think on the basis of the first race, the man he's got to watch to get away from is Mark Rutherford. My goodness, he was driving well until he overdid it.
Yes, Mark Rutherford, extremely aggressive driver. He got round the hairpin very quickly there, made up a bit of ground on Warren Burt, and they're close.
Have a look in the back straight in a little moment at these two cars, the white track Nissan Bluebird and the Escort 2-litre. There's a Starlet in there as well.
But just going on to Bombay Bend now, and the car's bobbling around, and Warren Burt's Starlet out handling Warren Steele. They're wobbling all over the circuit. The slipstream is on. Mark Rutherford's going to use the slipstream off Warren Steele. Warren Burt, who was in a start on the left-hand side of his screen, didn't get the tow. He'll be annoyed about that. Warren Steele and Mark Rutherford pulling away on the straight. They're getting a tow from each other. Very close indeed. Warren Steele braking very well, just locking up a little bit. Mark Rutherford is aggressive as ever. Is always the same. Not to be pushed out anywhere, and he may have the inside line for the next corner.
Good slipstreaming from Mark Rutherford down the back straight on Warren Steele.
Yes, Mark Rutherford knows Wigram very well. He's young, but he's competed here many times, and he's an expert around the circuit and always competes very well. Knows how to use the circuit like Leah Leonard did it in the earlier race. Well, Mark taking a different line there, but still holding on to Warren Steele.
Warren Steele's Nissan is very, very quick out of corners, Reg.
It's got a 2-litre engine. It's built to the latest Group A suspension rules, but with further modifications to the engine. It has 210 brake horsepower. Mark Rutherford's car is probably a good handling car, but was built to rules that are around 7 years ago, and it has got extra modifications in the suspension that Warren Steele doesn't have. So when you come, not through this corner, but the next one, which we call Bombay, I'd expect Mark Rutherford to close in on Warren Steele and slipstream down the back straight again. As we see Mark Rutherford closing right in there and hoping to get a tow down the straight. Yes, he's closed right in. He's going to follow Warren Steele across the circuits. Warren Steele's tried to pull away, so he can't slipstream him. Now they're getting tail, and all the stewards won't be very happy about this. There's going to be trouble here. Every driver trying to get a slipstream on for the other one. Warren Steele with a big Nissan Bluebird doesn't want to give a tow to Mark Rutherford. Mark Rutherford braking very, very late, holding second position just from Warren Burt. As Warren Burt closed right in under braking. Warren Burt right there. Must have got a very good tow off those cars earlier on.
Warren Burt closing right up there, shoving Mark Rutherford out of second place.
Yes, Warren Burt, a very...
Steele, Burt, Rutherford.
Yes, now Mark Rutherford's going to have a problem getting past Warren Burt because he's a very mean peddler, and he doesn't like letting other competitors pass, and he knows exactly how to shut the gate or close the door, as the saying goes in motor racing.
And the big thing, Reg, is going to be down the back straight. Mark Rutherford won't be close enough
to get a tow off Warren Steele. No. Mark Rutherford using his experience around the circuit, around the tower there, back into second spot, and he'll be trying very hard into the hairpin this time to get back onto Warren Steele because he needs the tow down the back straight in half a lap's time. Mark Rutherford closing right up under handling. This car is very good under braking. It's a lot of modifications that the Bluebird under the new rules isn't allowed to have.
What about the difference in handling characteristics between a front drive and rear drive?
Well, the Bluebird that Warren Steele's in is in a rear drive Bluebird, and Mark Rutherford's in a rear wheel drive Bluebird as well. So you don't see the difference at this stage in Shellsport. There is actually no front wheel drives in Shellsport at this stage. Yes, Mark Rutherford went very quickly around Bombay and was able to get side by side with Warren Steele. So they'll be close down the back straight and under braking again. I expect Mark Rutherford to maybe take the lead. Mark Rutherford braking very hard, trying very hard. He's around the outside of Warren Steele. They're coming out of the corner here. Mark Rutherford's taking the lead. Oh, Mark Rutherford. He knows this circuit very well. And Phil Henley's got in the act as well now. They're getting close, these boys. Anything's liable to have. Steelo and Mark Rutherford might have a nudge here. None of them want to give way. Phil Henley coming right through.
It's amazing, Reg, when you talk to Mark Rutherford, what a meek and mild fellow he appears to be and how aggressive he is on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's a bit like David Oxton and myself. We're lovely people until then. Warren Steele spun. Mark Rutherford's taken the lead. The championship points are going to change now. Phil Henley's in third spot. And
well, that's a reverse of the first race of the day.
Warren Steele might be happy. That engine probably won't start. Mark Rutherford in the lead. He'll be very pleased. He should take the lead in the championship on points now, possibly, in the New Zealand Shellsport Saloon Car Championship. Mark Rutherford will be very happy. He's never won here at Shellsport Race at Wigram, and he may just do so. He's still got to fend off the other challengers, which are Phil Henley, who's now second, and third would be Malcolm Webb and there's Starlet. And something's obviously happened to Warren Burt in the Starlet, who was in there in second spot before. Yeah, he's broken down and he's no longer in the race at the front group. So we have Mark Rutherford in the lead from Phil Henley, from Malcolm Webb. Malcolm Webb is from Hastings.
Burt just disappeared out of the shot.
Burt, he's obviously broken something, got a flat tyre or something like that. At Wigram, it is possible to get punches and things. Phil Henley trying very hard under braking to keep Malcolm Webb out. And Mark Rutherford not making any mistakes. Wants to win his first Shellsport race ever at Wigram, and is heading there. Could have been easy right out of the track. Warren Steele with us, finish in third place here today. Mark Rutherford. One more corner to go. About to head around a bumpy Bombay corner. Being followed reasonably closely by Malcolm Webb with Phil Henley right behind him. Phil may try to outbrake Malcolm Webb down the end of the straight. It's a long way. Phil's got more power, and it'll be a close tussle under these tunnel braking. He's Malcolm Webb tucked up behind Phil Henley, tried to get the slipstream, and now who's going to outbrake who out of the two cars in second and third? Malcolm Webb coming down the outside to outbrake Phil Henley, but Phil Henley's got the right line. Mark Rutherford in the lead. Phil Henley second. Malcolm Webb third. Mark Rutherford not making any mistakes at all. Phil Henley working very hard to keep Malcolm Webb at bay. Malcolm Webb looking to go on the inside of Phil, but yes, he has. Phil Henley's been chopped off there.
Toyota Starlet's another interesting car that in basic road form is a very good handler. It's a rear drive, unlike most modern small cars.
Well, with 1 lap to go, there's going to be an interesting tussle between Phil Henley and Malcolm Webb as to who's going to get second and third. They've swapped positions every lap, and Phil Henley may get through on the back straight on this last lap. Mark Rutherford not making any mistakes over the bumps at the hairpin. Half a lap to go. They've got one left-hander, and then they've got the tricky left-hander with a bump in it, which we call Bombay, coming up now. Starlet bobbing through the bumps as Phil Henley does as well. Can Phil Henley pull in Malcolm Webb down the back straight? Yes, here we go. Phil Henley lining himself up for a slingshot. Malcolm Webb moving around so that he could get in front. Taking the slipstream again. And interesting braking tussle coming up here in a second. At the end of the back straight, here they go. Here's Phil Henley, managed to swerve around and block Malcolm Webb out there. So it'll be Mark Rutherford in first place, Phil Henley second, with Malcolm Webb third.
There is the checkered flag for Mark Rutherford. Phil Henley through in second place, Malcolm Webb third. Rutherford in the Escort, Phil Henley in the Datsun, and Malcolm Webb in the Toyota Starlet.
Yes, well, Mark Rutherford and Phil Henley will have closed the points lead that Warren Steele had in the championship after this race, and you just saw a glimpse of Warren Steele's car parked on the side.
Fourth and fifth places
goes to Gary Love in a 1600 120Y Datsun, with Peter Corey in the yellow Datsun in the fifth place. Both these are South Island drivers and compete in Oscar races as well in all the South Island meetings. But it's the best place finish for Gary Love ever in a Shellsport race, and for Peter Corey, a newcomer to Shellsport, he'll be very pleased coming in fifth place.
So the order of finish: Mark Rutherford wins it in the Escort, Phil Henley second in the Datsun, Malcolm